Have you ever noticed subtle changes in the way your friends interact with you? Perhaps they seem more competitive, or conversations feel slightly off, but you can't quite put your finger on why. The truth is, a hidden competition is quietly brewing among your friends, and it's not about sports or careers. It's about you. You've become the prize in a rivalry that exists just beneath the surface of your everyday interactions. This silent battle for your attention and approval is shifting the dynamics of your relationships without you even realizing it. Unbeknownst to you, your presence has sparked something deeper within your circle of friends, a rivalry born from insecurities. It's not a fight for material gain or obvious social status, it's about something much more personal. Your qualities, be they your calm demeanor, confidence, or success, have triggered unresolved feelings in those around you. This silent competition thrives in the shadows, turning even the most mundane moments into opportunities for one-upmanship. In this unseen game, you are the unconscious prize that everyone is vying for, though they may never admit it openly. In this video, we'll uncover how insecurities manifest into hidden rivalries within friendships and social circles. We'll explore why you, without intending to, have become the catalyst for these subtle battles. From passive-aggressive comments to quiet resentments, your friends may be engaging in behaviors that stem from their unresolved feelings of inadequacy. We'll also discuss how to navigate this tricky terrain, where you are both the observer and the unintentional centerpiece of conflict, and how to maintain your groundedness despite the turbulence around you. The competition for your attention is not obvious at first. Friends might smile, laugh, and share good times as they always have, but there's an undercurrent of tension that wasn't there before. It starts small. Someone suddenly needs to one-up you in conversations or subtly criticizes another friend in your presence. What was once a casual, light-hearted atmosphere has shifted, and you're left wondering if you're imagining things. But this is no figment of your imagination. The dynamics are changing as each person, in their own way, begins to vie for your validation. At the heart of this is an unseen rivalry. You didn't ask to be in this position, but your traits, your confidence, calmness, or even your successes, make you a mirror for others to reflect on their own perceived shortcomings. When someone sees qualities in you that they feel they lack, it can stir up feelings of jealousy or inadequacy. Instead of addressing those insecurities internally, they project them outward, often targeting those closest to them, and in this case, you. You've become the silent catalyst of a competition that plays out in subtle and sometimes destructive ways. The signs are there if you know where to look. What was once playful banter now carries a sharper edge, and compliments often come with backhanded remarks. Friends might offer unsolicited advice or seem overly concerned with your well-being, but their gestures are tinged with an ulterior motive. They want to be seen as the one who understands you best, who you value the most. You may find yourself being pulled in different directions, as each friend attempts to subtly influence your perception of them, all while maintaining the guise of normality. When friends feel threatened by what you represent, whether it's success, emotional stability, or personal growth, it can awaken deeply buried insecurities. These insecurities often have little to do with you personally but instead reflect their internal struggles. These unresolved feelings, left unchecked, can manifest in strange and often damaging ways. Without realizing it, your friends may begin to harbor jealousy or resentment toward you, not for what you've done, but simply for who you are and what you symbolize in their eyes. As these insecurities bubble to the surface, jealousy and rivalry can take root. It may start innocently, but soon enough, the dynamic shifts from supportive friendship to quiet competition. Perhaps a friend who once celebrated your successes now downplays them, or another begins to distance themselves, unable to handle the reminder of their own perceived shortcomings. Even conversations become coded, every word seemingly holding an unspoken meaning. You are left standing in the eye of an emotional storm, wondering what changed, unaware that your presence alone has stirred these feelings in others. These emotional undercurrents, once unleashed, create a kind of invisible war zone. Each friend might feel the need to subtly assert themselves as the better or more valuable companion in your life. This need for validation becomes the driving force behind their actions. They may not confront you directly, but through small gestures, sarcastic comments, or veiled critiques, they make it clear that a competition is underway. And while the battle may be fought in whispers and passive-aggressive behaviors, the emotional toll on the friendship can be devastating. When insecurities are left unresolved, it's easier for people to project them onto someone else rather than face their own shortcomings. In this case, you become the easy target. Your friends might start blaming you, either openly or in subtle ways, for the emotions that have surfaced. It could be something as minor as accusing you of being distant or changed when, in reality, it is their perception of you that has altered due to their own internal struggles. Your ability to remain grounded and composed can be mistaken for arrogance or detachment. To someone grappling with feelings of inadequacy, your calmness might seem like a lack of concern or superiority. They interpret your self-assuredness as indifference, and instead of addressing their own issues, they begin to resent you for qualities they wish they had. This misinterpretation only deepens the divide between you and your friends, further fueling the hidden competition. In truth, you've done nothing wrong. You didn't ask for this competition, and you certainly didn't set out to make anyone feel inadequate. But your presence alone, your qualities, successes, and calm demeanor, has sparked a fire in those around you. The frustration they feel is less about you and more about what they see reflected in you, their own unresolved insecurities and shortcomings. And instead of confronting those internal struggles, they externalize them, turning you into the silent catalyst for their emotional storm. As the competition intensifies, friends may begin to seek your validation more openly, though often in disguised ways. They might offer unsolicited advice, position themselves as the wise friend, or attempt to align themselves more closely with your values. Each friend, in their own way, is vying for your attention, hoping to prove their worth through subtle comparisons and demonstrations of loyalty. In their minds, winning your approval becomes synonymous with validating their self-worth. Behind every compliment, gesture, or offer of help, there may be an ulterior motive, to stand out in your eyes as the friend you value most. What was once a natural, effortless friendship now feels strategic. Every interaction is colored by a need to be seen, to be acknowledged, and to rise above the others in your life. This hidden competition, driven by their need for validation, starts to erode the authenticity of the relationships, turning once supportive connections into battlegrounds of hidden agendas. Fact that their struggles are with themselves, not with you. They might withdraw emotionally or start nitpicking your actions, convinced that you've somehow changed or become indifferent. In truth, it is their insecurities that have magnified your calmness into something more threatening than it is. This perception of you as detached or unapproachable only widens the rift, making it difficult for you to maintain the closeness and trust that once existed. Over time, this distance can create a feedback loop. As they pull away or act out, you might naturally become more reserved, further reinforcing their belief that you are disconnected from them. They interpret your calmness as a lack of concern for their well-being, which can deepen their feelings of isolation and resentment. In their minds, the more composed and grounded you appear, the more it highlights their own inner turmoil, creating an almost insurmountable divide. What they fail to realize is that your groundedness is not a rejection of them, but rather a reflection of the personal growth they too could achieve if they confronted their own insecurities. This growing divide can leave you feeling frustrated, confused, and even guilty for qualities that should be celebrated. Your calmness, emotional stability, or success becomes a source of conflict, even though you never intended it to be. As this cycle of misinterpretation and resentment continues, the relationships that were once built on mutual support and understanding may begin to feel strained or even toxic. You may find yourself questioning what, if anything, you could do to mend these relationships, all the while realizing that the core issue lies in their struggle with themselves, not in anything you've done. Friends may engage in subtle manipulations in their quest for validation, often without even realizing it. Passive-aggressive behavior becomes a tool for them to express their insecurities without directly confronting you. A friend might make a sarcastic remark about your success, wrapped in a smile, leaving you wondering if they're truly happy for you or harboring resentment. This passive aggression can take many forms, from seemingly innocent jokes about your choices to backhanded compliments that leave you feeling more criticized than praised. These behaviors serve to express their frustrations while maintaining the facade of friendship. Another form of manipulation comes in exaggerated acts of support. A friend might go out of their way to help you in ways that feel excessive or unnecessary, only to later remind you of their sacrifices. These grand gestures aren't necessarily about genuine care, they are designed to position themselves as indispensable in your life. By doing more than what is needed, they hope to gain your approval and attention, making you feel indebted to them. What might seem like kindness on the surface is often an attempt to secure a higher place in your regard. Backhanded compliments are another common form of manipulation. A friend may praise you, but with a twist that undermines the compliment. For example, they might say, "You're really good at that," for someone who's never had experience before, subtly diminishing your achievements while still appearing supportive. These mixed messages create confusion, making you question the sincerity of the praise while allowing the friend to maintain a sense of superiority. Over time, these manipulations chip away at the trust and authenticity that once existed in the friendship, slowly poisoning the bond. As this rivalry deepens, the trust that once formed the foundation of the friendship begins to erode. The subtle competition and manipulation create an atmosphere of suspicion and defensiveness. Instead of feeling like a safe space where you can share your thoughts and feelings, the friendship becomes a battlefield where every interaction is tinged with unspoken agendas. The more this behavior continues, the harder it becomes to maintain the genuine connection that once existed. You may start to question your friend's motives, wondering if their support is truly heartfelt or if they're only looking out for their own interests. The rivalry poisons the friendship by turning once honest interactions into calculated moves. Conversations that were once filled with mutual support and understanding now become opportunities for one-upmanship. Friends may begin withholding information or offering selective truths, afraid that being too open could give the others an edge in this unspoken competition. This gradual erosion of trust leads to a breakdown in communication, leaving you feeling increasingly isolated from the people who once felt like your closest allies. As the friendship erodes, so does the authenticity that made it meaningful. What was once a space for vulnerability and growth becomes a place of guarded interactions and unspoken resentments. Friends who were once able to celebrate each other's successes now view them through the lens of competition. The disintegration of trust not only damages the bond between you and your friends but also makes it difficult for anyone to move forward with honesty and openness. Without that foundation of trust, the friendship begins to crumble, leaving behind only a shell of what it once was. This hidden competition can eventually spiral out of control, consuming those involved in a cycle of jealousy and sabotage. What started as subtle manipulation and passive-aggressive behavior may escalate into more overt acts of rivalry. Friends may begin actively undermining each other in an attempt to gain your favor, whether by pointing out each other's flaws or exaggerating their own contributions to the friendship. This constant need to prove themselves leaves them trapped in a never-ending cycle of comparison and insecurity, with each person vying to be seen as the most valuable in your eyes. As the competition spirals, it starts to affect not just the individuals but the entire dynamic of the group. Friends who were once allies in shared experiences and mutual support now see each other as threats. They may begin to isolate themselves from the group or form alliances with others who share their insecurities. This shift in dynamics creates a toxic environment where everyone is more focused on outdoing each other than on fostering genuine connections. The longer the competition goes on, the more difficult it becomes to return to the supportive and trusting relationships that once existed. Meanwhile, you remain at the center of this storm, often unaware of the chaos swirling around you. You didn't ask to be placed in this position, and you may not even realize the extent to which your friends are competing for your approval. While they are consumed by jealousy and rivalry, you remain the unwitting epicenter, trying to maintain your groundedness amidst the growing tension. This can leave you feeling confused and frustrated, wondering why the dynamics of your friendships have changed so drastically. Yet, in the midst of it all, you remain unbothered by the rivalry, unaware that your presence is fueling it. This situation may be more than just a coincidence, it could represent a karmic reckoning for those involved. Karma is often seen as the energy we carry forward from our past actions, and in this case, the hidden competition among your friends may be their way of confronting unresolved issues. These individuals may have gone through life avoiding their insecurities, burying feelings of inadequacy deep within. But your presence, your confidence, and your success have brought these unresolved emotions to the surface, forcing them to confront parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. This karmic reckoning is not just about the competition, it's about personal growth. For some of your friends, this rivalry might be the catalyst they need to face their insecurities head-on. It could be the lesson they need to learn to stop comparing themselves to others and start focusing on their own path. However, growth is not always easy or welcome. Some may resist, clinging to their old patterns of behavior, unwilling to acknowledge that the real struggle lies within themselves. They may continue to project their insecurities onto you and others, deepening the karmic cycle instead of breaking free from it. For others, this situation presents a unique opportunity for self-awareness and transformation. Those who are ready to face their insecurities may come to realize that the competition they've been engaging in was never about you. It was always about their own unresolved issues, their need for validation, and their inability to accept themselves as they are. This realization may be painful, but it's also a necessary step toward personal growth. Whether they are ready for it or not, this karmic lesson will continue to play out until the individuals involved learn to confront their deepest fears and insecurities. In the midst of this storm, it's essential for you to stand strong in your power. Your friends' jealousy, insecurities, and manipulations are not a reflection of your worth, they are a reflection of their own internal struggles. It's easy to get caught up in the drama and start questioning yourself, but it's important to remember that their actions are not your responsibility. You cannot control how others perceive you or how they react to your success and groundedness. What you can control is your own response. Stand firm in who you are and don't let their insecurities shake your sense of self. Your worth is not dependent on anyone else's opinions or actions. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, especially when you're caught in the middle of a rivalry. But true power comes from within. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone or bend to the expectations of others. Your calmness, confidence, and success are not things to be ashamed of, they are the result of your own hard work and personal growth. Let go of the need to be validated by those who are still struggling with their own insecurities. Instead, focus on nurturing the qualities that make you who you are. As you continue to stand in your strength, you may find that the competition around you begins to lose its power. When you stop seeking validation from others and remain grounded in your own sense of worth, the jealousy and manipulations of others start to feel less significant. By staying true to yourself, you set an example for others to follow. You show them that it's possible to be confident and successful without needing to tear others down. In doing so, you not only protect your own sense of peace but also create a path for those around you to find their own inner strength.